As a CEO or business owner, have you ever had this situation where you've got an employee, they're not doing their job well. You wish they would quit because if you fire them, you're worried that they might claim that you fired them for an improper purpose, or maybe they'll file for unemployment and now you have to start paying out unemployment. So you would prefer that they quit. And you're wondering, how do I get an employee to quit? Well, I want to show you a powerful way, and it's important that this not be abused. It really is effective, and it is a great way to deal with an employee who is not a good employee, who's either not doing their job or not effectively operating and performing in the role in which they've been hired to do. And it's quite simply this. When you hold an employee accountable and you regularly give them feedback on the areas where they need to improve, most people will not want to stick around in that sort of environment. Now, unfortunately, it's uncomfortable for you. But I have seen time and time again when a company needs to remove an employee for performance or attitude issues, what they do is that employee's supervisor has regular, frequent meetings with the employee about the progress towards resolving these issues. The supervisor will explain, here's another instance, here's what's happened. Now, here's what it looks like to succeed in this job. Here's what you're doing. Notice the difference here. In order to remain in this role, this is what's expected of you. And you're talking about performance and attitude issues. Second, as an employer, you should be documenting each one of these meetings and what you're talking about. So it will say on this date, I spoke with this employee and I talked about these items. Document that. So if there is a termination or resignation later, you have documentation of the specific performance or attitude issues that led up to that termination. Now, an employee who leaves may say, it was a hostile work environment. That's a common excuse. But hostile work environment is a pretty high bar, and typically that's abuse by either a supervisor or someone in leadership, or it's leaders being negligent in dealing with hostilities within the workplace. It's not hostile for a supervisor to professionally, regularly remind an employee of the ways that that employee is not performing in accordance with expectations for the role. Now, some employees will just hang on as long as possible, and in that case, you might decide, I'm going to terminate them. But even if you terminate them at that point, sure, you might have to pay unemployment insurance, but you will at least have established documentation for the performance or attitude issues that led up to the termination, which gives you evidence to fight any case of wrongful termination or suggestions of hostile work environment. And it might also establish enough that you can avoid paying unemployment insurance, because where there is repeated violations of company policy, lack of performance, or other significant issues, if there's a series of significant issues, often that can be sufficient to establish that the employee was terminated for a significant enough reason that the company should not have to pay unemployment insurance to that employee, or to the state as it goes. Many times employers pay it to the state and the state pays it to the employee. So, in short, accountability and frequent conversations with an employee often is enough for the employee to decide, this isn't working. I'm not feeling great here. I'm going to go find a place that's a better fit for me. Maybe it's a better fit because they can slack off there without accountability. But you as an employer can use regular accountability meetings as a way to protect your company, preserve the high quality employees that you have, and usher out the employees who are not working well, not performing well, and not bringing the right attitude to the workplace. I'm Aaron Hall. I'm a business attorney. I represent employers, CEOs, and officers with employment matters. If you'd like more information about me, you can go to aaronhall.com. And if you'd like our free guide to avoid common legal problems in companies, go to aaronhall.com/free, enter your email address. You'll get the guide and videos walking you through how to avoid legal problems in your company.